Welcome to season 3 of the VoiceCast. We are back.
Yeah.
And for this season of the VoiceCast, it's entitled It's Not You, It's Me Conversations. And we just want to talk about relationships, dating, love, and all that good stuff. Yes. Give our opinion, our challenges, our wisdom, but then also connect it to God, because it is all about Him and what His Word says. Yes. Today, for our very, very first episode of this season, we have none other than Pastor Jason.
Hello. Welcome.
Pastor Kaimana.
Hello there.
And Pastor Joel.
Hola.
Here we go. Today's going to be a really, really special conversation. But let's go ahead and break some ice. If you had to pick one, I'm going to name different names. Name different names. You got that?
Name different names.
Names.
Of the names.
Say the name.
Who is it?
Jesus or the devil?
Say my name.
Say my name.
Jesus.
Okay.
I got it right.
Do we have to pick?
Oh my
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So I'm going to say some couple of celebrity names, and you have to tell me who do you pick. Okay? One has to go, one has to stay. One has to be, one has to not be.
Wow.
Got it?
It's heavy.
Okay. Jennifer Lopez or Jennifer Aniston?
Jennifer Lopez.
Has to go or stay?
Stay.
She has to go.
Stay. Jenny from the block.
What do you say?
I'm saying Jennifer
be-
Lopez. 100%.
Yeah,
Guys.
100%. It's not even.
100%. She can sing. She can act. And
She's Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican. She's
Hispanic.
like she's
can
50,
sing-ish.
something like that, but she's still like killing.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
killing the game
that's
like
right.
crazy.
2000.
Okay, but
Things.
Jennifer
She's-
Aniston's also like
Yeah,
50,
who's Jennifer
and
Aniston?
she's still looks
From
good
Friends.
too. From
Oh.
Friends.
Rachel,
Not about
her
just
haircut.
looks.
Yeah, J-Lo, yo.
She's yeah.
J-Lo,
know how
J-Lo
you
can
say
dance. She can
I'm
sing.
gonna have
She can
J-Lo.
like. Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's-
have to stand up for Rachel
Okay.
and choose Jennifer Aniston. You're welcome.
But is that really how you feel?
No.
I can't tap into my feelings right now.
That's true.
But you know, she
Just
was a
needs
big part of my
discourse.
childhood.
Okay.
So is Jenny from the block, I guess.
I'm still
as much.
Jenny from the block.
Just yeah. But Friends was like my favorite show
Show.
since I was like 5, which I shouldn't have been allowed to watch it
That's
at
true.
that point, Mom. But I'm just gonna say Jennifer Aniston because I feel bad that she's not being loved at this table.
I know,
That's
but
true.
it's you're comparing her to
I
J-Lo though. So
know.
like
Yeah.
there's just no way. I think it's okay. I think Jennifer Aniston would say J-Lo too.
She
I
would
think
choose
J-Lo would say
herself.
Jennifer Aniston.
Aw, 'cause
So
she's
that's
nice.
why
They're secure
And that's why we
women.
picked
she has
J-Lo.
perfume, she has makeup, she has
She's done
condos. Do you
everything.
know that she like
She
worked with a
does have
law
condos.
firm?
She did like
Who?
a
J-Lo?
Yeah.
towing show from Miami, right? Didn't she like produce that show?
towing
Like
show?
towing things?
Like towing cars.
She was also Selena.
yeah.
Can't forget with that.
Well said.
She played her, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like she was her.
She was
Selena
her.
never.
She
that's
is
how,
her.
That's how
Embodied
dope
her.
J-Lo is.
I thought she was
Like,
Selena for the
Me
longest.
too.
And then when I saw Selena, I was like, oh, you don't
You're
look like J-Lo.
Oh, you're the wrong one.
Yeah.
You're the wrong
not the
one.
real Selenas.
Oh my goodness! Welcome to Orlando.
Amen.
Okay,
God
Steve
bless her.
Carell or Steve Martin?
I said Steve Carell. I don't even know who
'Cause
Steve
you don't
Martin
know
is.
One Steve Martin movie. No.
No,
My Blue
I don't.
Heaven, Parenthood.
Nope.
I
No.
thought
Cheaper
this
by the
question.
dozen.
Cheaper by the
by- okay.
dozen. Cheaper by the dozen.
Maybe I do know, yeah.
Yeah.
He says he's had
I
white
was
hair
confused
since
with the guy.
the 70s.
Who's the Martin
Yeah.
guy? Martin Lawrence?
Yes.
Lawrence.
That's what I thought it was.
Martin
Yeah.
Lawrence is not at all like Steve Martin.
They have the same last name.
No,
no.
one's
That's his
named
first name.
Steve Martin and one is named Martin Lawrence.
Martin. Martin.
Steve-
So they have two first names for their whole name. Is that what you mean?
They have
Oh,
a name
wow.
in common,
See? Yeah.
but
That's what
not.
But
it is.
who's named Lawrence? Oh, your stepdad.
My stepfather. God bless him. My stepdad.
I was like, who's
No one can name
Who's
someone named
Lawrence?
Lawrence.
Yeah, Steve Carell.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
You pick.
I
Go
would
with your
choose-
heart on this one.
Okay, my heart says Steve Carell too.
Yeah.
But yes, but mainly because Dan in real life, like also The Office. But I remember for some reason, do you guys ever watch that movie, Dan in real life?
No.
Oh wait.
No, you haven't seen
No.
it.
What movie is
I've
that?
seen The
Where his
Office.
wife dies.
No.
It's
and
like-
then
it's
he's
like
a
a
Where he
single
gets
dad.
he gets like pulled over
Oh,
and
it's
he's
like
like,
a
put it
drama.
on my
It's not
tab.
funny.
It's not funny.
I don't wanna
no.
watch that.
I like started liking him a lot after
that
that.
old?
Like as a serious
like, no, it's not.
actor.
Yeah, because it was like he was just sad, but then he was funny. Like he was still like, what's his character name? Michael Scott.
Michael
He
Scott.
was still funny like Michael Scott, but it's like Michael was sad. I don't know. You guys never watched it? It had
No.
it had the other.
Jennifer
It had
Aniston?
Dane Cook in it, and Dane Cook was his. Was it Dane Cook? I feel like I'm making this up. You guys have never seen it?
No.
Okay.
I want to see it now,
Fine.
though.
Goodbye. It's on Disney
Is it like
Plus
a
for some
tearjerker
reason.
like type movie?
Kind of. It's kind of just like a good movie.
Like
and
a
then
feel
like he's
good?
a single dad and falls in love. But then there's a twist.
Ooh,
Oh,
love
now
twists.
I have
So-
to. Now that you,
I don't have
you left
Disney
it,
Plus.
you left
Yeah.
it there.
I'll
You
give
gotta
you
get
my
Disney Plus.
password.
So I
That's
can watch
pretty
it in
great.
real life.
I don't know. I like Steve Carell, but only for The Office. But I like Steve Martin for dozens of movies.
I did
Planes,
think,
Trains, and
I did
Automobiles?
think this is
Oh,
really
Planes, Trains, and
hard if I
Automobiles,
had to
yeah.
pick because I believe in picking.
That's a good one.
Man,
I
don't know any
do.
of these
I'm
movies.
embarrassed. I'm embarrassed of my answer because I think it's the wrong answer. I picked Steve Carell, but I think that's the wrong answer.
Right, because Steve Martin has
is the
done
father
so
of
much.
comedy.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's one of
Yeah.
those guys up there. He performed with like Eddie Murphy. He was like one of the first few stand-up comedians. When I was
Yes.
younger, I thought he was hilarious. He was kind of like Steve Carell. Like they
Yeah.
could be. He's played serious roles, but also played funny roles. Father of the Bride 1, 2,
Yeah.
and 3. Like he was in Saturday Night Live. He's an SNL comedian. So I think
Yeah.
I should pick Steve Martin.
But you're not gonna.
But I think in my heart, I love Steve Carell like a lot.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's can be serious and he can be funny and.
But
I
he
just feel
just
like-
wasn't
I
a
don't know.
founder,
But
so you don't want to
I did
choose
put
him.
asterisk hard. This is a hard
Difficult.
answer.
Pastor
I feel like
Jason
one-
hasn't chosen though.
I did.
yeah, he did. He did.
Steve Martin.
Oh, okay.
100%.
You were like you were
He's the father of
stressed about it.
comedy.
I
Okay.
picked J Lo.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just feel like
She's
we
off
all
the
table.
know
Pick Martin Lawrence.
like Steve Carell's characters are someone we all know in real life, and I think that's what makes it so funny.
But really, like besides Michael Scott, who
I feel like
Groot?
everyone thinks they're funny like
Gru,
him, but
whatever.
he's like for real
No,
funny.
no, I'm not saying they're
Yeah,
as
he's
funny. I'm saying he's like
Groot? Is that what you said?
No, not Groot.
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 That's
from
the
yeah.
tree from
Despicable-
the tree?
Nah,
the
yeah.
tree.
I
I was
am
like,
That's
he's
Steve Carell
Groot?
too.
No, that's
You didn't know that?
Vince.
He recorded like 5,000
Like, they're
lines
just
of I Am
noises.
Groot.
Like, why did you pick Groot?
Gru. Yeah,
Right,
the dude from
Despicable Me.
Despicable
Oh,
Me.
Gru.
Yes.
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 Oh, yeah.
I'm saying he's like a caricature of like people we know, but brought to like.
But here's the problem with Steve
nth
Carell.
Degree.
He's only Steve Carell. He is only Steve
He's
Carell.
like, there's no difference.
It's like Shia LaBeouf. I'm
Have
like,
you seen,
get
the
another character.
movies?
It's like Vince
No, Steve Carell.
Vince Vaughn,
Groot.
same
In the-
actor, every movie.
I'm just.
Martin
But
Lawrence.
you're not gonna say Groot. I said Gru.
Gru.
Did I say
Like,
Groot?
it's like
You said
Groot.
Groot, which I think is not. I think that's Vin
Tree.
Diesel.
It's a tree.
Yeah, I think that's Vin Diesel.
Whatever pick Groot as anything.
I would pick Groot too. Though.
Groot's an incredible
I would pick
actor.
Groot.
You're talking about
I mean, the
little
variety.
tree in,
Not well.
Guardians.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, Guardians.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, where are you picking it? Like Yoda. I picked Yoda. What?
Yoda, I pick. I don't know what he's talking about.
Amen. Amen. God bless
Oh
him.
my gosh.
I want to say
Yoda.
something else.
What's her line? I can't do this panel.
I cannot continue on this panel.
I did the goal.
Amen. So we said we just want to get Kaimana laughing, but we got Pastor
my
Sonia
gosh.
too.
It's hard
God
to
bless
get me
America.
going.
I feel
This
good. I
is
feel
also
proud.
understanding.
Yes.
All I want to say,
I am Groot. It's my favorite
all I want
line.
to say is Date Night was a good movie.
Date night.
I don't think I've seen it.
Crazy
Wait.
Stupid Love.
Oh
Crazy
my gosh,
Stupid
my
Love.
favorite. Yes.
I've seen him play serious and actors, and he makes me cry. I think he could totally serious.
Yes.
That's true. He
The
can be
show,
serious.
the morning show. I don't know if everyone's seen that. He's phenomenal.
Man, I need to
in
watch a lot
it.
more movies. I haven't seen
yeah.
any of these movies.
But he's also really hilarious. But he can play a serious character. Okay, Jim Carrey or Jimmy Fallon?
There's no question.
Jim Carrey, Jimmy
There's
Fallon.
no
Jim
Really?
Carrey.
Oh.
Jim Carrey.
okay.
Even,
Yeah.
but are you just not thinking about the last like decade of his life?
That he's
What do you
been
mean?
crazy.
That
Because he was
Been
like
evil.
lost it a little bit.
That's true. He's lost it.
He
But-
was still.
But it's just like saying Whitney Houston was a bad singer. I know we can
can't
ignore the last
unlearn
20
that.
years
Go to
until
the
when
end.
she's passed
Yeah.
away. But
Yes.
before that, she
Rest in
was
peace.
still like, no, Jim Carrey he's a baddie. He's amazing. He was like hilarious. When he
Yeah,
played
I
the Riddler, he could do serious parts. He was awesome.
Yeah, I think Jim Carrey is great.
I'm gonna
Ace
choose
Ventura.
Jimmy Fallon.
Oh,
I'm gonna leave. He's just nice though. He's like a nice.
But are
he's
you
like
really
a nice
because
guy.
you feel sorry for him or you genuinely
No,
think that?
I like him though. Like, I just feel like I can't get over how weird Jim Carrey is now.
that's
Yeah.
true.
It's hard to get past it.
Yeah.
But
so then
Ace Ventura,
Dumb and Dumber.
that's like I don't know, like
That's true.
he's that and no one can.
Yeah.
Well, just like Steve
No
Carell,
one's
like
like, yeah.
he's Michael Scott, Scott Michael. First name's
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
It's hard to like. No one can emulate that.
Yeah, I mean he's iconic.
So I picked
Love
J Lo,
him for a
Jim
movie.
Carrey, and Steve Carell.
Ugh.
I agree.
We can have them on the panel next.
Amen. They're
That'd be
coming.
Awesome. Maybe not Jim Carrey.
Not Jim.
Not Jim.
We couldn't.
He
But
probably
Jimmy
wouldn't
Fallon.
Not James.
Jimmy Fallon would
Jimmy
come be
Fallon
on
is
it.
vanilla.
In Living Color, that's where he
He
started.
has a children's book.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he like spoofs Vanilla Ice.
Yes.
Yeah.
He spoofed a lot of things.
Yeah, he's fun.
One big
He's fun.
spoof.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make a comment if you know who Fire Marshal Bill is.
I do.
don't.
Yeah?
Really?
The other
Yeah.
day, one of our speakers sounded like Fire Marshal Bill, and I couldn't think of anyone that
Yeah.
would get it, so I texted Samaris. I was like, this guy's talking like Fire Marshal Bill.
Is that a,
I think it
is
is
that
my
a Jim
parents.
Carrey character?
Yes, he talked like this.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
He had like
kinda
no
familiar.
lip. Yeah, because he was like,
Because he was
in
a fire.
somebody, so
yeah, he was like,
bird.
yeah. So he didn't have a
There's a
top lip.
savage level in the 90s that we cannot get
Cable
away with
Guy?
today. Cable Guy.
That's a great one too.
Truman Show.
Truman Show.
Deep.
That's sad. I don't like.
Wasn't there one? Wasn't he like in a horror movie
Yeah, that
too?
is really sad.
23.
23.
Weird movie.
Wow, you're obsessed.
Weird movie.
Jimmy, where does he live? What's his address?
2160.
Okay,
Drive.
we're gonna continue or begin our conversation. We'll continue that next episode. But in this conversation, it's going to be a little bit of a battle of the sexes. We're going to be talking about men versus women
Punch
stuff.
someone in the face.
Let's do it.
So we'll be doing different things and sharing our opinion on which sex is the best, basically. You know, not really, but just different opinions, sharing it. Okay, girls versus guys, guys versus girls. Who shall win? Okay, this first question is for the gentleman in the table.
Okay.
Okay, what is the first thing women notice about men?
Well, I think the first thing is like there's
Women notice.
Yeah, the first thing women notice about men, I think, is like the style and clothing and the way that they dress. That's what I think. I think so, which I think is very unfortunate.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of great guys
That are bad dressers.
that are bad dressers.
Like
And,
who?
Like, I don't know.
Do you know any of them?
Maybe. Like myself, okay? All right. Me. I was not good at dressing,
I think you
okay?
look nice today.
Because I got married.
Yep.
And so I wake up to my wardrobe. And
That's a good day.
It's pretty
Wish I could
nice.
wake up
That
to
is
my
pretty
nice.
room.
But before that, I didn't dress so nice. And I'm just saying, like, you got to give a guy a chance because he can't dress super good all the time. Doesn't mean he doesn't have a good heart. He might. I don't know. That's how I feel. I feel like they
You
notice.
feel like you lost out on some.
No. Well, the
was
funny
gonna
thing
say,
is,
Your shirt was the reason.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
Your not stylish shirt though.
Yeah, so it was an
Yes.
anime shirt, but it was still my style that got me the girl. And I just wish that she loved me for my heart and not my shirt.
You don't think your wife loves you right now for your
We're going
heart?
to talk about
She
this.
does.
She's-
She does. She
she
does.
But at first. But I mean, either way.
At first, she was just like,
she
that's
didn't
a cool
notice your
shirt.
style, so you're right on that.
Yes. So yeah, I think that's the first thing girls notice, which is unfortunate for a lot of guys and girls.
First thing women notice.
Man, I feel like that's a good answer. I might want to say Steve Carell. No, I think it is style. I think it is style. I think that's maybe what intrigues a woman, but then it's the humor. I think that also intrigues her. So I don't know. If a guy can make a girl laugh, that's a really good thing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
I think that it's what girls always say. I would say is they notice how tall a guy is, like right off the
Oh.
bat.
Yeah.
But I would say the first thing gets their
wear
attention. I
stilts.
guess kind of.
I wear stilts. There's stilts under these legs.
I think what kind of gets girls' attention at first is almost what you said, but like confidence.
Yes,
Like if
absolutely.
you can see across the room, like if a guy's like talking, everyone's like, "Hey, what's up?" and you're like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
But if a guy's like wearing flip flops and then like is to himself and he's like texting, you're kind of like, "Ooh."
What if
I
he's
don't know.
flip flops and confident?
The flip
Jesus.
that
Yes.
it would
Like
flip
very
flops,
confident.
but I don't know. Then he probably. I mean, either way, flip
Like, you
flops
hear
or
him,
not,
like,
he could get a
clapping.
girl. If he's a Christian guy, he could get anyone.
That's true. And a musician put a guitar in his hands.
Flip
Give him some
flops.
long hair.
And
guitar.
also, I do
beast
think
hair.
it's all about looks either way on both genders, because if you're like, that was my thing. Like, if you're really pretty, you don't realize how the rest of the world
Experiences
treats.
life.
Yeah, there's like certain people that I know that are gorgeous, and it's like, oh my gosh, like it's not a big, like when you go into a store, like people want to help you. People always like give you hookups, like, yeah, I got this for free, or they said I could just go right in and this. My mom, like, you don't even know like what you have, don't even realize, like,
Wow.
which I want to do, man, this shit, like ugly people versus pretty people.
That's
just
awesome.
But it's true though, like there's just certain there's certain privilege that pretty people have. I do think at the end of the day, I don't think it's men versus women. Or races versus races. I think it's pretty versus ugly. I've seen it.
I really could get on board with that.
Like I've seen there's like certain
man.
people, there's certain ex models on our staff that literally can get anything, and I'm just like, right, because you're 1,000 feet tall and you're gorgeous.
I feel great for like the uglies who become pretty, but I feel bad for the pretties
Who become ugly?
who become ugly.
If you peak too soon,
and then you're like,
you could be like the hottest thing in high school, and then you peak too soon, and then you're like,
That's so
you have to peak at the right time.
just get married quickly.
But I do think
Like
it's
Christmas.
I do think it's looks, and people see that, and whatever. But you could be an ugly guy and you are funny. Then it's like eventually you can. win them
you'll be
over.
fine.
I think that's true too. Yeah.
Yes, how you do it.
Make them laugh.
But you can be like hot and just far away, not ever say anything, and then people are just like, oh my, they just
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but they don't really like that person because that person's not a person. It's just a.
They could once you get to know them.
Yeah,
Just because
if
you're
they're
pretty
funny.
doesn't mean you don't have a personality.
That's true though. But if you're pretty with no personality, everyone gets old and everyone gets ugly eventually.
It's true.
That's
So
true.
like you gotta
Yes.
have a personality. You gotta have something.
I feel like most guys I can think of who are like 11s on a scale of 1 to 10 do not have good personalities.
Because they
like-
never needed it.
Yeah,
They're like,
That's true.
I would
They never
rather
needed
to Got no
die
grit.
than
Tell a
talk
joke.
to you.
Yep.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
They've
but
never
then,
been rejected.
Never
Yes.
felt insecure.
Yep.
I'm
Tear
fine,
here.
guys. I'm fine.
I'm good,
pray for
guys.
you.
It's a joke.
But yeah, personality goes along. But here's the thing too: like men can be fat and have a good personality. You would never date or marry a fat woman,
True.
right? No, I'm serious. So like, it doesn't matter. Like, if
Real
you're-
personal.
I know, but
Jason's
I'm
like,
just saying, like, even on
I don't
the,
know.
This is-
I
this
think
is-
guys.
this is-
I think a guy
But
would
it's-
marry.
okay.
No,
But here's
not
the
no. There's a difference between
fat and thick.
yeah.
It's also it's
Wait,
relative.
wait.
There's a
It's relative.
body shape
You know what I'm saying?
matters
Like,
in
what
the
fat- like,
proportions.
if
Yes.
you're a big
Yeah.
guy and you're like, oh, I like it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They could have curves, and to
Oh,
you they're
for
not
sure.
fat. But
Yeah.
you would
Yes.
never go. You versus a woman can date someone and go, they're fat, but they're funny. That's
Yeah,
fine.
but I
Yeah.
love them. I
Yeah.
love them.
or they're skinny, or they're this, or they don't know how to
Yeah.
dress, but I love them. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
a man
real.
would go, she's,
They have to like
What they
whatever
see.
is there.
Okay, this is what I've always described it. So like, you can't judge a book by its cover, right? That's all they say.
Amen.
Okay,
But-
I don't think you made that up.
No.
But
I did.
No.
Okay.
Not that
Steve
part. Not that
Carell
part.
did.
Steve Martin. Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence.
But the book cover is what attracts you to the book.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
don't pick up a boring looking book.
Yeah.
A book cover that looks dope, you're like, oh, what's this book? And then you read the back cover and you're like, this is boring. You put it back. But, the book cover's got to look nice.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you read the book and you're like, wow,
Nobody
this
wants
is a
to read
great
a
book.
thick old book.
Yeah, that's
It's too long.
That looks
Yeah.
boring.
We have we
Yeah.
want a little thin book. Little
You know what I'm saying?
pictures.
Little pamphlet.
Thickness is not bad, in the
That's
right
true.
places.
books,
if it's a good
or-
plot, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? A good,
I
I'm
mean, people read those
uncomfortable.
Harry Potter books. Those are big.
See what I'm saying? Good character
War and
development.
Peace. Yep.
War and Peace.
The Bible.
The Bible.
The Bible.
That's
The
a thick
Bible.
book.
Book.
Most
Ooh.
people
What
don't
do you
read
guys
that.
think? Bible's
but
a
When have
thick
you ever
book.
seen a cool looking Bible cover?
I have one.
I'm gonna
seen
pray
them.
for you.
Like the ones that have your name written on it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
cool now.
So the Bible is about you. Okay. I'm just
the
kidding.
ones that agree with all my beliefs.
That's true.
Take this part out.
Exactly.
I'm gonna rip it. It's really thin once you rip everything
See,
hard out.
and then we like it, and then we like it.
And then we
it's
like
perfect.
it.
See,
Wow.
God help us. We all need to go read a fat Bible tonight. Everybody, get a fat Bible.
Moral of the story.
It'll keep you.
Fat
and
Bible.
keep reading it. Okay. Who has it harder, men or women?
Oof.
This is so easy.
I agree.
I don't know why we keep making Joel go first.
That's fine.
But, yeah,
I just want to
I
know
do
where the
feel that.
shooting. I want him to get all the
I
bullets.
know that's not fair.
No,
She
I'm
can
kidding.
go first.
I'll go first. It's very obviously women have it
Okay.
harder. This is 1,000% a man's world. Maybe some other country where women rule, like the island that Superwoman's from.
Amazon,
Wonder Woman?
Amazonian?
Yeah, get your.
Yeah.
There's,
Amazonian
I don't know,
recipe.
there's the
about
island of San Blas.
heroes.
It's a matriarchal, and they rule.
Then yeah, so they
And what do
probably
they-
have it
what do the
easier
guys do?
there.
What do you mean they rule? What does that mean? They
It's
rule.
instead of a patriarchal society,
I don't
it's
understand
a
what you
what's
mean
a
when women
matriarchal
rule.
Privilege,
society.
but what's
so like
different?
they make the
What do you
decisions, they pay the bills, they do whatever. Now
what do the
obviously
guys
they
do?
live on the
What
line.
do you
they do what they're
mean?
told. So even like whenever
That's our society too. It's like, come out.
That's true.
I just know that when we were on the island trying like to buy stuff or whatever, like we would be haggling with a guy, and they would always look at the woman And she would go,
Okay.
and they would look, and she would just sit there. I'm serious. And it was obviously, they're more a primitive society, but they were like,
That's
just so you
why.
know, like it's a matriarchal society.
That's cool.
The women don't wear tops. It's a matriarchal society. Anyways, sunglasses.
I think I can figure out. Never mind. Wow. Yikes.
It's like that place sounds.
You didn't lead with that. These men
Sunglasses,
are a
go
little
on a cruise.
distracted.
Go on a cruise.
Oh, God.
That's
You
how
friends
cultures are
host the boat,
sometimes.
and they're just.
You have to take a
Yikes.
little bit
Okay,
to the
but
little island.
have you guys ever been to like a topless beach or something,
Well,
like
I
in
have-
France?
I have
or
never
it's not,
been.
It's
I've never
not
been to a
what
topless
It's not
beach.
super.
you think when you hear that. It's you don't want to be there.
Yeah, it's not.
Amen.
It's not what.
It's
Yeah.
not.
Oh, God.
It's society. Anyways,
Yeah.
women have it harder.
Yeah. Just period. Like there's no. I don't even think it needs an explanation.
Men.
No, I agree. I think women have it harder.
Wow, that's really bad.
Well, now that I'm married to a woman,
You're like, it's hard for you, girl.
and this is my only marriage. So-
That's true.
but now that I see it, like every day, I'm like, wow, it is tough for you. Life's, man, like just, bodily stuff.
Sorry,
and
Alex.
like,
Bodily.
yeah,
Bodily stuff.
like girls just have it rough, man. And guys are just like, I don't know, all the emotions
bad.
and all that. I do sometimes. I also feel, guys only have it worse when they have to deal with a girl who's having it really bad.
Oh my
I know
gosh,
that's allowed
that
to
is
say- I'm allowed
such a
to say that.
misogynist
Okay, man, you were really on a
comment.
Hey,
good
this is
track.
why-
And
this is
then
why-
it
Okay,
went
let's go
down.
move to
This is why I
LeBlanc,
let
and then I won't
San
say
Blas.
San Blas.
Oh, gosh.
Matt LeBlanc from Friends.
Okay, listen, I'm just saying, women have it harder unless I have to deal with that woman. That is
Misogynist. Let's just put like
Oh,
LeBlanc.
God. Help me.
I'm still Jenny from LeBlanc.
Wow.
Honestly.
Honestly, I was going to say, I wrote this down. Everyone is fighting a battle I know nothing about. I think ladies have it hard. Let's pray. Bow your heads. I think ladies have it hard. I think they have it difficult with their all kinds of challenges for being a woman. I think there's a lot of pressure on ladies on how they appear, how they look. Like from 13 years old, they're told this is what beauty is, this is what acceptable is. But I do think men have it hard when it comes to the pressure of manhood, of being a man, of having an identity. I think one of the reasons why my argument for this is because of the diminishment of manhood,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
the lack of acknowledgement and the representation of a father and all those things. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can say one has it harder. I don't know if I can honestly say one has it harder. I think everybody has their struggle. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of statistics, but they're all morbid. Like, like the number one person to commit suicide is men. The number one
That's
people
true.
in prison are men, because there's pressure. There's a pressure
shooters.
on them. School shooters, yeah.
Men. All
men.
We're number one in everything.
We're number one.
We're number one in horrible things. And no, but I mean, obviously those are bad examples or bad things to bring to whatever. But I think as a man, there's this pressure to know and understand and have a confidence that you still have to figure that out. Yeah.
I think it's funny because you saying that. I don't think I've ever thought about that before. Because my answer is not this, but if I think about this, I'm like, well, maybe it is harder to be a man. Maybe that's why there's so many fatherless families. Like they can't do it. Like, or they
True.
feel like they can't, so they quit. Like
Yep.
there's not, moms don't usually quit. I'm being general. I'm like, but maybe that's why we have so many fatherless situations, like, because they can't, because it's too hard.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, too hard.
Sure.
I mean,
You
the
know?
impact of a father is like so different. Like
Yeah.
having a
Yeah.
dad or not having dad makes everything 100% different. So
But I think it's funny because that affects women though, because then
It
men
does.
are allowed to give up,
That's
and
true.
then women are like, cool. So now I'm mom and dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. So then
True.
so it would be if we all work together, like
100%.
it can be good,
Like
but
the way the Lord created.
yes.
In my experience, and the whole entire time, I've been a woman my whole life.
That's true.
Wow. Congrats.
you have to kind of stay that.
Yeah, I have to
you know.
say that, and I just said it.
From birth till now.
Well said.
Birth to
I
now.
think that it's harder for women. In my experience, I feel like every male around me has had it easier than me. So women give birth. That's super hard.
Yeah.
Would
Right.
never want to trade places.
Man.
In my
In the Christian
experience.
realm, there's more men than women. I mean, there's more women than men. So it's harder for women to find a mate.
Yeah, that's true.
I think women have the outside. You can't be too thick. You can't be too smart. You can't be whatever. So I think that it's way easier for an average guy to find a spouse than an average girl to find a spouse. I do think because of the lack of fathers in our society, I think women have been forced to play two roles. And then at that point, it's hard for them to like receive help or gain help or whatever. But I've never seen a guy in our ministry go through it like in our life or whatever and not find a spouse or not find a date.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, for like a second, oh no, there's nobody. And then there is somebody versus there's so many women who are like, where are the men? And I hate that women have to like say that.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
Yeah, girls have it harder.
if I could go back in time and be born something else, I think I would want to be a guy and not a woman.
Yikes.
And that's pretty sad.
That is sad.
Yeah, but I'm like, man, if I would rule the school though. So that's probably why the Lord was like, nah, you need to calm down.
I guess honestly, like I've never wanted that to come back and become a girl. So
I don't know
That's
any
true.
guy that
Yeah,
would.
I've
Nobody would.
I've
They don't
never
even
been
want to
like-
kind of
Yeah, I want to be
experience
a woman
it.
when I grow
Oh
up.
my, if
Yeah.
I was a man, oh my, do you see how my eyes just got real? I was like Zion. That would be crazy if
Yeah.
I were a boy.
See,
Sing
even
it.
Beyonce.
I know, Bendit.
And
I know
she's like on top
Beyonce.
of women.
Yep.
Women of women.
J-Lo.
Amen.
Yeah.
Carell.
Okay, who's more? Who guys have to answer this first because ladies answered this last. Who's more emotional, men or women?
I'm
Women.
gonna say.
You have to pick it. No, yeah, we
Why
have to
am-
pick. We
why am-
can't
Yeah.
say
women. I know.
Women.
Pick
Why?
a side. Pick a side.
Yes.
Don't leave me out to dry.
Okay.
no.
All right.
Guys are in
Why?
this together.
Yep.
Because
Because I don't know.
because
Because my
Because she
wife,
hasn't told me
I
the
love
reason
you,
why.
Alex.
I do love you, Alex, very much. But emotions kind of rule the show. So when emotions show up, they own everything. There's been times where it would be in an argument, and halfway through the argument, I realize, oh, we're not arguing about what we're arguing about.
Oh, yes.
You're just emotional. Like, which sounds horrible, and I wouldn't say it like that all the time.
Well said.
But sometimes I'm like, hey, why are you upset? I don't know why I'm upset. I'm like, so let's do something else, whatever. Let's
Wow.
not.
Yeah.
Let's not. One time with people, I realized. I just want to make sure I say this right.
Oh my
I gotta go home
gosh.
tonight.
I'm uncomfortable.
Well,
Emotions run the show. That's pretty much what it is, right?
Okay.
So like,
Emotions.
that's all I'm gonna say.
it's hard to like divorce what you're feeling from what you're actually like going through in the moment. And so like I'm a very logical
It's hard for everyone or for women.
I think it's
in
hard.
your-
I think it's hard for everyone. I'll be honest. There's moments when if my emotions get out of control, then I'm out of control. But I have a very long fuse. But once it's burned, it's like burned. In my experience, most women don't have as long as a fuse. And then when emotions take over, they take over, and it's a wrap, and it's done, and nothing else matters until emotions come back into check.
Yikes. Man, I'm
testify.
going to say.
I love you, Lauda.
Yeah, I love you, Lauda. I'm going to say.
Oh
You guys
my
are just taking
God.
so long
Ladies,
because you're married.
of course,
okay.
okay.
Because
I'm going to say.
collateral
But
damage.
I think right, yeah, and then I don't want to sleep outside. No, I think ladies. I guess I don't understand what you mean by emotional. Like,
Okay.
do you mean like a negative emotion, or do you mean expressing emotion?
I would say both, because I feel like Alex is better at expressing emotion than I
Because
am too.
100% ladies are better at expressing what they're going through or
to
what
me,
they
where I
feel.
read it, like just
Just like where you
negative
would,
side.
like when you would say emotional.
reacting with feelings instead of with reality.
Yes. Yeah, I was saying.
Yeah,
The
but
reality of the situation, not like I wasn't trying to be like,
sure, yeah, but I've just met some men who are crazy emotional too, and like men have their seasons where they're just angry and mad and just and shut down. I was like, what's wrong with you? I mean,
But it's also,
yeah.
but shut down is, I think that's an emotional
Emotion.
response too.
Well, I think girls are resilient. They can bounce back way faster than guys. Because like if a guy, again, me, like if I reach that point, I'm done. Like
Sure.
I need to like leave me alone for a good amount of time so I
Yep.
can finally come back to whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like women are more able to come back from.
You didn't really answer.
Yeah, so I'm going to say women are more emotional than men. Final answer. And I'm
Okay.
sorry. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
We won't be back.
Men
Why?
are close second. why are women
Men
more
are a
emotional?
close second.
Men are a close second.
There's no third because there's only two.
I think it's just because I think ladies are more are better at expressing their emotions whenever they feel it. Like I feel like ladies they'll be laughing 1 minute and then crying the second minute, and then talking about their dreams and talking about what they don't want and talking about what they do want. It is an insane sphere of emotions.
All while ordering
Like
lunch.
it's all of it. It's all of the emotions at one moment. By the time I feel one emotion, my wife has felt all of them. And then, but I like your word, resilient. And like instantly they're done.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Beyonce.
Called.
Always. So anyways, child of God, the unrepeatable miracle. So anyways, like, I don't know. I think ladies are more emotional. My final answer, Steve Carell.
Wow, that was difficult for you guys.
I know.
Pastor Kai.
I'll just say in my experience, so I feel like it has to do with how you're raised, and so
That's true.
Societally, I think whatever. But in my experience, I've always known men to be way more emotional than me as a woman. That I've always been, because I'm really good at controlling my emotions. I'm really good at this is not the time right now to be sad or be mad or whatever. Every guy friend I've ever had, it's like, well, they've all been musicians too growing up, so that's like already a bend towards emotion. But
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of like the only people I've ever seen like walk in to church or school or whatever and like sulk for like 24 hours is a man. Like I've never seen a woman do that, because I think girls are resilient, so they feel it, but they're like, I still have to do this or whatever. I think me and Gio were actually talking about this, which he's definitely more emotional than me, but he's also more emotionally intelligent. Like he feels his emotions, he accepts them, and then he's over it. I'm just like, it takes me months to be like, how did I feel about that situation? But what I will say is I think that like the emotion of anger gets downplayed a lot because that's what most men show.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think men are allowed to be angry anywhere all the time. Like, and it's just okay. It's like, oh, it's just really mad. And I'm like, well, if it's not okay for a woman to be, crying randomly, then it shouldn't really be okay for a man to be explosively angry.
Yep.
That too. So in my experience, I think men are more emotional, but I think it all depends on how you were raised in our society where it is not a matriarchy. I would say most women probably are at least told how emotional they are their whole lives.
That's very true.
So then they kind of act on it, because it's like, oh girl, you're just being so emotional. And you're like, am I?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the unfair thing. Like if a woman reacts, she's emotional.
Right.
But if a guy reacts, he's just a guy. And it's
Right.
like, no, it's
Like,
so...
you gotta let him cool off. And I'm like, well, okay, then you just gotta let her calm down.
Yeah.
It's
There
the
you
same
go.
thing.
That's true. Like
Yep.
a man who I've never gotten the silent treatment. Well,
Yeah.
actually, no, from a woman. In my professional career, I've gotten silent treatment from men, but I've never gotten silent treatment from a woman.
Right.
And that is, you're right. That is exactly the same thing. If you're like, oh yeah, like going off versus I'm gonna not talk to you for 2 weeks.
Right.
It's the same.
Yeah, I think it's a lack of like emotional intelligence. Like the typical guy, like probably doesn't have, is not as in touch with his emotions, because you're right in the sense that guys are allowed to be upset, but guys are not allowed to cry. Like they're not allowed to like express any other emotion, and anger is typically a secondary emotion. So like we get angry, or anyone gets angry because something else is going on and you can't express it, so you express it through anger.
Yeah.
It's either like hurt or fear, right?
Yeah.
And as a man, you can never be afraid and you can never show your hurt. So the only response is anger, which isn't right, isn't healthy, but it is kind of a difficult thing.
Yeah. Okay, this will be for the ladies. I'll answer first since you can take a break. What's one thing about men you don't understand? One thing about men that I don't understand is everything. I don't understand it. I'm a very math person, so I literally okay, just when I think I got it, I'm wrong. Because every man is so different
100%.
on every season, every emotion, every time of day. They compartmentalize a lot, but I never know when they're done compartmentalizing, and it's literally miserable. I am miserable. Also, as a woman, I can multitask really well, so I'm like, yeah, let's be happy, let's be sad, let's do this, let's do that. And men are like, one thing at a time.
Yes.
That's true.
And I just don't get it. And I literally try, I'm like, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this. And I'm like, okay, you do this, and then I'm like, I don't get any of it.
Yeah.
None of it. And I'm mad.
And feel everyone watching this is me like, yes, of course. This
thing
one
you
is
understand.
so random. This is like a really, really niche thing.
Okay.
I don't think it'll apply to you. I don't know if it'll apply to you.
We'll find out.
But I don't know. It honestly just reminds me of my brother, which I'm sure he doesn't watch this. But so this is what he did. I was kidding. But I don't understand why guys make their girlfriends watch them play video games when they're hanging out. And I guess it's more, I don't understand why women would do that willingly.
Yes.
But like like if guys play video games or
Weird.
like sports
Come watch
or
me.
like to play like Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't know, like it's always just like part of our hanging out time will be you watching me do this. And the girls are like, okay. And like, do you want a snack? And I'm just like,
What?
I cannot believe that you do this. But it's like,
I am
it's all the
shook
time.
right
Really
now.
It's all the
good.
time.
That is
Yeah,
good.
anything a guy likes to do, like part of
watch
hanging
me.
out with me is going to be you doing that.
Yes.
You watching me do it. Like
Yikes.
even guys like bring their girlfriends to the gym. Their girlfriend doesn't want to go to the
Yeah.
gym, but they just go there and they
Or
watch them
like
lift
go
weights.
play
and I'm like, what's-
basketball when it's just
right,
the
and the
pickup
girls
game.
just
Come
kind of
watch me
sit there
play.
and they're
Yeah,
like,
I'm
oh,
gonna
good
watch you play.
job. I don't get it. Like I don't know, Gio's not like
Like you're
that,
talking about
'cause I would
like
die.
basketball, like if you're on a team or
No,
like
like
just
a
Like,
pickup
hang
game.
out.
like
Like
go
a
on a
pickup
Saturday
game,
morning.
they'll just
You're
come.
not invited to play. You're gonna go sit there while I play with my other guy friends. And the girls are like, okay.
Watch. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
people do it all the time.
Yeah. I think I don't know, but maybe it's more, I don't understand why women would do that than guys ask for it. But
I'm
I
sure
don't know.
guys like it because it's like, watch me. I'm on my
I think so
phone.
too, but it's also like, well, the watching part gets me, whatever. But like the video games, because it's like, come experience this with me. Like I'm enjoying this. Like come play with me, and like we'll do it together.
Well, right, but that's not
But
not what she's saying.
No, I know
Yeah.
what you're saying. I'm like, you're just like, no,
Watching.
watch, sit there and watch me
That's
enjoy this.
dumb.
There, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of
Yikes.
weird.
And then guys are like, my girlfriend loves video games. I'm like, she
But it's a
doesn't.
thing. It does happen.
and no,
Yeah.
it does.
I don't
Yeah.
understand why. It's just so weird.
No, I
Never
believe
happens
that.
with girls though. Never. It wouldn't be like, hey, watch me knit. Like he would be like, no, I'm not gonna
That's how women do.
Yep.
watch me.
It's true.
I'm trying to think what women actually do.
Paint their
Watch
nails.
me
See,
watch
this is a problem.
this show.
Watch me.
Come with me to the store.
Watch me do my eyeliner.
Holy cow.
Right, but like, yes, watch me do my, like guys would never. They'd be like, why? I'm
No,
gonna just sit
yeah.
over there.
It's true.
Wow.
Watch me do magic.
Yep.
You have no insight to come to this?
No, I mean, I tried. I like playing video games. Alex doesn't really, and it's funny because so there was a game that had a great storyline, and I wanted her to enjoy with me. But then as I'm doing that, I wasn't having fun because she wasn't having fun. So I was like, okay, you can go do whatever you want. Like I'll just play and it's fine. I just mind my
Right, but
business,
when you're
whatever.
trying to teach someone, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
don't think that's like, oh,
Yeah.
come, let's do this together. But I'm
Yes.
saying, like,
Yeah.
have you ever been like, Alex, I'm going to play this. Watch me. Watch how good I am.
Well, I mean, she would say no right off the bat. She'd be like, or she'd sit there, and on TikTok or whatever. And that makes me mad too. So I'm like, no.
Well, if you guys have any comments, gentlemen watching, let us know why.
I want to know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't do that either.
But we all
think
know it
someone-
happens.
Yeah.
Of course. I can
Yeah.
hear I can see that.
I could
So
hear it.
weird. I can hear it right now.
Okay, gentlemen, what's one thing you don't understand about women?
Don't be so long in your
Gosh.
answers.
I'm going to
Your
go
wives
with
will love
Pastor
you.
Sonia's answer. Everything. I just feel like there's a lot of things I don't understand about ladies to this day. And I'm not a woman and I never will be, but I married one. And there's things about her that I don't understand. Every day it's a new adventure. And I think I'm going to stick with that answer. I don't understand a lot of things. I know, but that's a really good answer. It's like
Everything.
everything.
I
Well
try,
said.
though.
All
Like,
of the
I'm
above.
like, okay, this, okay, got it. And then
I feel like
this
we've
is
talked
too
about
long.
emotions. I don't understand that. I don't understand. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. There's a lot I don't understand. I know that was cheap. I'm sorry.
No.
can't say
I think
everything.
I have. I'm not gonna say everything. I have two. I think like one. I don't understand how sometimes like 2 + 2 = 5, and it's like no matter what, it's like no, but what you're saying doesn't make sense. Yeah, but this is how I feel. It's like but it really doesn't add up, and it doesn't whatever. No, but this is how I feel, and this is it. And then also like not having
aren't you a psychology major?
kind of social work major.
Like,
Yeah.
and you don't understand that? Like, if people are like, this is reality, but this is how I feel, like you can't validate the feelings?
No, I can
Or you
understand
don't like it.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I understand
That makes sense.
I understand that, but it's like no, I get it, but this
Like,
is
oh,
this
not
is
to
right
switch.
though.
Like,
Like,
this is the right, this is wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel this way. They
Like-
should accept the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. that
Okay,
they're
I'm feeling this
wrong.
isn't reality, so I need to.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think the other one too is like there's just I feel like a lot of unwritten rules for being a girl with other girls.
Okay.
And like for me, I'm like if I have an issue with someone, I'm gonna be like, hey bro, what happened here? What's going on? Oh yeah, my bad. All right, cool. All right, we're good. But with girls, it's like, did you see the way she looked? Did you see what she was wearing?
that's
Did you
really
see this?
good.
And you see
That's
that
true.
and whatever? I'm like, no,
But
I
girls
didn't.
understand that language fluently.
Yeah, well,
so that's funny.
I'm like, I didn't
Yeah.
notice that at all.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, did you see this? I'm like, no, I thought we were fine. I thought we were having a great time. I was like, no, did you hear the way she went? I'm like, no, I thought it was fine. I thought it was great. But there's like all these, you can't act like this and you can't say this and you can't do that. And when you're around this girl, you gotta be a certain way. And then you saw the attention she was trying to get. And
Oh
I'm
my
like-
gosh,
I'm
that is a
I'm like,
really good
wow,
answer.
That is a good answer.
It's
Yeah.
very, I mean, I think it goes back to like just woman's intuition /
Yeah.
Holy Spirit or whatever, but like there is a sixth sense that women have that literally goes over men's, but it is
Yeah.
in the thing, in the tone, how they dress, how they look, what they touch, like literally, but
Yeah.
to us, like we notice it right. We don't even have to be, we can be like this the whole time,
Yeah.
but still we know, we're like, oh yeah, totally had attitude. Because you could bring it up to another woman and we're like, yep, they
Yeah.
did. They were mad. And you're like, what?
I literally
thought
don't
we
get
had-
it. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? But I thought we were fine.
That's
like,
so hard to
everyone's-
even explain though, too.
Yeah.
Like,
Gio has had to learn that because like my friends will always come over and they'll be just talking and then I'll just intrinsically know like if they're gonna share something that shouldn't be shared about themselves, about whatever, I'm just like I just know it. But then later Gio will be like, oh yeah, she was over here and she said she feels like this to someone else. And I'm like, Gio,
you shouldn't have said that.
that is not for you to share. What are you doing? And then he's like, oh, I don't know. She said it in front of me. And I'm like, I know, but you see how she said it? She said it like she doesn't want anyone to know. And so then he's had to learn. He still doesn't
Wow.
know. But
I still
now he
don't
just
know.
doesn't say anything.
That's-
I'm like,
that's a
anything
good
that
man.
you just shh.
That's
enough.
really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, and I don't, like I said, it's not something you teach or learn. You just know. Mm-hmm. It's a really good answer. Yeah. And
Good
you're just
job.
like,
You
what's
win.
wrong? Yeah, you're just like,
No, I'm like, yeah, we're good. We're chilling.
Like,
like
oh, they
things are
hate
good.
you.
I
Yeah.
hate you. That's
Like,
funny.
I'm just gonna go talk to them. No, you can't talk to them. I'm like, why not? I'm just gonna make things right. Like,
do it.
yeah.
You can't bring
Wow.
it up.
Good
Wow,
answer.
that's really, really good.
You win the panel.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Good night.
Amen.
Okay, what's the best way? This is for anyone at any point. What's the best way to get over your ex as a Christian? / is it different from how a non-Christian would get over it? But the main question is, what's the best way to get over your ex as a Christian?
I think you just cut all ties, like everything that would possibly lead, which is usually unfortunate because you guys almost always, or you should, go to the same church. So that's like the one part you can't get away from. You guys, neither one should stop going to church, but you should block them. You should unfollow them. You should ignore them if they call you. You shouldn't call them. You should hang out with your friends. Just anything. You just shouldn't. Like, you shouldn't. It should just be over because I feel like the world, and I feel like Christians too, but it's more acceptable maybe in the world to have like 5 breakups. But also interlaced with that is usually some kind of sin happening because it's like, I'm so sad, I miss you. But I just think like if you really want to get over it, that person's dead to you in love.
In love.
But they're dead to you, and that's the fastest way I think you'll get over it.
I think it matters on how the breakup happened and like the relationship. So like if it was a bad break, like and there's sin involved, then I do think you cut ties, you complete whatever.
Yep.
You have no contact with them. But I think if it was a healthy relationship and you just realize, oh, actually we're just not meant for each other. You know, there's this is not works and it's a good, then I think that's kind of the point. Like that's how you get over a breakup is by
Yeah.
having a healthy relationship to begin with. So like if I'm dating someone, I'm dating them to find out more about myself, but also like to see if this works. And if it doesn't, then okay. But ultimately we both walk away being better people because of the time we spent together.
Do you think that ever happens though?
I think sometimes I have to hope, right? Like does every breakup is a horrible
Have you ever
breakup?
seen one?
Just because, like, if you're saying, like, yeah, if not, I feel like at the very least, what always happens is one person is like, yeah, we do work, we are meant to be, and I'm ready. And then the other person's like, I don't think we work, I'm not ready, and we're not meant to. You know what I mean?
But then
like,
at that point,
it's
you
not
weren't.
mutual.
But even if it's not mutual, you're still not both in. Like,
Yeah.
So it wasn't going to work. So I think it could happen. You know, I think feelings are going to get hurt no matter what. Like any type of
Yes.
change, breakups hurt no matter what. But if it's a really ugly break,
Or sins involved. Yeah.
or especially where sin's involved, right? That's where you have to like completely cut ties. You can't delete the number, you know, find your group of friends and separate whatever. But if it's a clean break, then I think that that's enough. Like, because you're hopefully mature enough to understand. I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've just never seen that.
I've never seen that.
I understand
Gotcha.
what you're saying.
But I
I've
also
never
like
seen it.
you've never dated, except Alex.
Yeah.
That's been your only Christian relationship. I've had every Christian relationship, and no sin, promise, promise, and no, like you have to block them completely. I've never seen that. It's never. I've seen it on TV, and I think watching it on TV, I think it convinces, especially women, because men do compartmentalize more. So when it's like, okay, we can't. And here's the thing, and obviously I'm speaking mature, like, doesn't mean you have to like blast them on social media or punch them in the face.
Well, that's the opposite
every
of,
time you
of
see
cutting
them.
ties.
Right.
No, I know, but like,
see it.
I'm not saying, I don't want people to you're saying, no, we can be civil, we can be friends. And I'm
Yeah.
saying you can't be friends. But that doesn't mean you have to bash them or punch them or talk bad about them. I'm saying, so even when it's like, it's not happening, like having a connection still, I think it's what ruins it, because men are waffles, women are spaghetti.
That's true.
So like, while you can go, okay, our romantic relationship is over, and now we can be friendship. Women cannot. It all connects.
Sure, yeah.
So women will lie, and I hate that. You'll go, let's be friends, and we'll go, yeah, we can be friends. We can still text. We can hang. We can this. No, the minute we have any sort of connection, it continues, no matter how small or how tiny. Like you could be like, we haven't talked for 3 years. Get that text, and literally we stopped right here in the line, and then we're like, it's been 3 years, so you would think it's over. I'm like, no, we will continue exactly where we left, and we will keep going. And men are not like that, but because women are the other half of the relationship, I think people have to understand, like, it can't happen.
Yeah.
Like, even if there's sin, and like I said, I'm not saying murder them every time, but like, no, like, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to text.
Yeah.
If I see you, I'm probably going to like walk away.
Yeah.
We're not going to hang out together. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where, while I do think it is possible, maybe from the man side, maybe possible. But I've even had that too, that it's like, when people are still like, no, I still want to make it work. You know, the whole mutual, oh, it doesn't work, didn't work. I feel like that's a very secular mentality in the Christian realm, because when we date to marry, not to like, I'm just bored. And if we do to just bored, we're already on the wrong path, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it is really confusing, but I can see from your perspective how you would think, and I would like to see that work, but I've never been able to do it without sin. Without like, I've never been, because it's in my mind. I'm like, if we're going to talk, I'm going to continue, and I don't want to continue, but I'm going to be like, you know, like I just, you know, it's just like with your ex, you can have also 2 exes be married and on their own way still. Like, you don't continue having, I'm still going to text them, or we're going to hang out. I'm like, no, because it can relate to emotional dating someone who's not your spouse.
Yeah.
And I've seen
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah, I know.
That's true.
Wow. I think there's, after any trauma, there's a healthy way to recover and an unhealthy way to recover. And so the unhealthy way is you just oversaturate yourself with the wrong, like, distractions, with alcohol, or with just, you're running to another relationship. I think the worst thing to do after a breakup is to get immediately into another relationship when you're emotionally unstable. So I think there's a healthy way to recover and an unhealthy way to recover. The healthiest way, I think, to get over a relationship is to just get radically focused on what you're here to do, radically focused on, where am I going? What am I called to accomplish? Who am I supposed to be? Because so many times people are trying to find themselves in a relationship when they don't even know who they are. Like, they're an eagle and they're trying to marry a turkey. And it's like, no, baby, you're called to soar. So let's get going somewhere. So I think that's the big difference. And I agree with you. It's the motivation in dating a lot of the times.
Right.
In secular environments, it's let's hook up, let's have a good time.
Yeah.
No. In Christian relationships, it's like, I want to see if this is and it's such a heavy thing. And I don't think we set up people how to date properly. But I mean, that's the challenge. It's like, what
I
is this
think
for?
also too, just sorry to like add to that it's like, as Christians, we can justify, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we do a good job of setting up people to date. People just don't want to listen. They want to do it their own way.
Right. Yeah.
Because they get social media or watching Friends all the time versus I'll skip February, or they won't watch this.
Yeah.
Right. You know? Anyways, but like, I think in the, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. The people, because there is no sin, like as a Christian, I'm like, we didn't have sex.
Right.
We're not doing drugs. I'm not drinking. So they'll text someone
So
late
it's
at
fine.
night.
Yeah.
And to satisfy that emotional
Yeah.
desire,
Yeah.
I call it CBC. I call it Christian booty call.
Okay.
Because in reality, we're like, you know how the world, like, I'm not hooking up.
Yeah,
but you're
right.
texting them at 2 a.m. because you're lonely, satisfying and making a connection
Yes.
with a guy that nobody knows about. It's a secret relationship. But if you were to
Right.
sit down, is it a sin?
Right.
And you go, no, we didn't have sex.
Technically,
No,
no.
we're not watching porn. And no, we're just talking about TV. You can have that connection with someone. And it literally can be talking about whatever. Doesn't have to get dirty or nasty. And then you have this connection with someone in secret. And you're like, I'm fine. But literally, they're not getting involved. They're not growing in God. They're not reading their word. And they form this secret connection that they can justify. And it literally, it is more toxic almost than just flat out like, I had sex last night.
Well, because you
it's
don't.
so ambiguous.
Yeah,
you-
and nobody knows.
And you can't identify where the problem is.
So
and you're
Yeah.
having a need being met.
Yes.
So
Right.
you feel good.
that to
Right.
me is a lot more popular. Like right now, people are listening. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, because like,
And no one will ever know.
Yes, because I've formed ties with people like that, and I'm like, literally, we're talking about whatever, and I'm like, wow, I've forming a bond here, forming a connection here.
Yeah.
That literally is not going to lead to more,
Right.
and I'm satisfying. You're admitting, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am an animal. I'm
Yeah.
satisfying a carnal desire. I'm like that I shouldn't be satisfying this way.
Yeah.
And it is really Christian booty calls are
They're very real.
scary.
Yeah.
Because nobody talks about that.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think you know that you can tell it's wrong because if you're married
Right.
and you were texting someone that late, opposite, whatever, there would be it would be completely inappropriate. There'd
Yeah.
be no one, I mean, not no one, but no one of integrity that would be like, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, and it'd be like, well, it doesn't mean anything. Okay, don't text them. You know, like
Yeah.
you never need to do that. So, and then I also think it's crazy and why I think people have to separate is because Christians and I think this is kind of wrong. But we the first thing we ever talk about is marriage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I'm just you can't be friends with someone who you planned your wedding with.
Yeah.
You know, the 6 months you were dating and just be like, oh yeah, we're just buds now. And I'm like, no, you guys chose the flower colors of your wed. You cannot be, you can't go back from that. You cannot. And which I don't think we should do that anyways, but
I think that's the opposite extreme. So people in the world who date, they're like, oh, I'm just trying to hook up, trying to whatever.
Yeah.
But Christians are like, I'm going to marry
Yeah, the
you
Holy
because
Spirit
you
is in
like
this.
me.
Right.
And I like you.
Which
right?
comes to our next question. You keep
Very
going. Why are
awkward.
Christians so awkward at dating?
Because they think that their next relationship is marriage,
Yes. Right.
which it might be,
Right.
right.
but it also might not be. And
Yeah.
you have to juggle both of those realistically within the relationship.
And that's hard.
And there's social pressure too, because everyone's gonna go, "Oh, God told me," or "I had a dream," and it's like, "No, you didn't. You had pizza."
Right.
It's God's given them, and I think it's dangerous to live in these blurred lines. And every time we live in these blurry, safe, ambiguous spaces, I mean, it's just gonna end to.
How many of you guys had someone go, God told me I was going to marry you?
Oh, I had that happen
yeah.
a few weeks ago.
I had
100%.
2 boys in high school.
Yikes! Yes.
Yes. Literally, God,
Yep.
God said, God this. I would go, God told me I was going to marry this other person, and they're married to somebody else.
Yeah.
Not to whatever. And I'm just like, that wasn't God. That was the devil. You better get to the altar.
Right.
But it is, I do think that's
It's just crazy how we're so convinced the Lord speaks when it's something we want,
Ooh,
but if
right.
if it's
what else has God spoken to you about?
nothing, but it's crazy how He wants me to do this thing that I want,
Right.
and it's
That I
like
really, really want
that
deep
is
down in my
not,
heart.
like, can you just put it out there? If God has not told you where your job is,
Right.
or how
There you
to
go.
graduate high school,
Right.
then God did not tell you who
Or
you're going
if
to
you
marry.
don't
There's
just-
no way.
If you
Yeah.
don't talk to him either, you don't pray, you don't hear his voice on the regular, / if God did, then you also don't need to tell anyone. You just, pray on it.
Yeah.
Pray through it and let's see what happens.
also marriage is awesome and great, but it's not the end all be all of life.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
There's so much more that God has for each and every one of us that I think sometimes in the Christian world too, we're like, once you're married, that's it.
Right. Your
You've
life
reached it. You're
starts.
done.
Right. You are
You're in
saved.
heaven. But it's no, there's more.
There's more.
And
Yeah.
and so I think people.
I don't think we ever talk about that. I think married people say that, but you forget what it's like when you weren't married. So if we could figure out a book to go, hey, it's not the end all be all, but say it when it's not,
yes.
when you're not married. So, because then right now, literally,
Right.
you're talking right now, and I could just see certain people being like, whatever, you're just saying that you're married.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
But it's crazy, which I guess you do realize when you're married, you realize it very quickly. So it's almost like, I always think that when people older than me have told me things about my life, or, well, when you get older this, or when you have kids this, and like a couple years ago, I realized like those people are right. Because every time I get into that thing, I'm like, you're right. So like, I honestly just started believing people. Like I have little kids right now, and I'm literally so tired. Like I'm just so tired. I'm exhausted. And so then I'm like, part of me is like, oh, I can't wait till this part is over. But every parent in the world is like, these are the good days. These are the easy days. These are the days you're going to want. And so literally when it gets hard and when I'm exhausted, I'm like, no, these are the good days.
Yes,
these are the easy days. It's going to get harder. So like, I do wish that non-married people could hear that, because I don't think they do. But I don't know, like as soon as you get married, like I have like friends, as soon as they get married, like their wedding night, they're just like, oh, that was really awkward. And Lord. I'm like, I know, I told you, it's really not worth it to just, get married in 3 months to someone you hate just so you can have sex with them. It's not worth it. But they're like, I don't believe you. The day after they get married. Yeah, you were
Got
right.
it.
Yeah.
Why are Christians so awkward at dating? And how do we stop? Any more thoughts on that?
I think we act creepy about it. Like everything about it, we just act creepy because it's always like marriage is the goal. And I think that the community too, sometimes like the church, we also make it awkward for anyone who's trying to date, because as soon as someone, when they are in a relationship, we're like, what? Oh my gosh, wedding bells. Oh my gosh, your kids would be so cute. Like we do it to them too, to where they're like,
we are the worst.
Okay. Yeah. So we hurt them. I also have seen just times when like people enter a relationship and people close to the situation are like, this is not a good relationship. This should not be celebrated. Y'all need to break up right now. But the church community who doesn't know the deeper whatever is like, okay, girl, okay, get your man, whatever. And like, they're all hyping it up to where, I mean, there's so many more voices for it than the close accountability people that are against it. Wow, that's good. Sometimes like, I think we need to withhold our praise and our hyping up of people till we really know what's going on.
Yeah.
So
I think too, like Christians are aware of sin and the world isn't so aware of sin. So like when you mess up in a relationship, instead of giving up the relationship, they rather try to fix it within their Christianity, not realizing that they're not in Christianity anymore.
That's good.
And they're like, they come to the church and like, your close accountability knows you're in sin, knows it's wrong. So you don't talk to them anymore. So you kind of isolate yourself from them. But then also, because the Spirit of God's in you. So you're in the wrong place and you're kind of just weird. And then because of that, you end up being sketch and compromising. If you're in the world, whatever. You're in the world, do whatever you want. Who cares? But like when you know that there's a calling and a purpose in your life, when you know that Jesus laid down his life for you to be free, and you're willingly throwing that away, not only yours, but you're messing someone else up too. Like in the process, there's that constant that feeling,
I do think, I think one of the biggest things is I do think people are like, oh yeah, we just don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. And I'm just like, I've been to this church a long time. We talk about everything.
We talk about a lot.
Like if you
here.
actually come, and I'm serious about that, like, and not to be whatever, but like all three of you are very good examples of doing the right thing and doing it the right way. And you learned it from this dumb place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people are just like, oh, you don't talk about it. People don't talk about it. They're afraid. I'm like, no, actually the church is this church, my home does an excellent job of talking about sexuality, identity, dating, do's and don'ts, accountability. I just think whenever you get upset or you get convicted, then you run away and you start making up your own theology. So like I'm the biggest proponent. I'm like, no, you can learn here. Yes, we do talk about it. No, we're not embarrassed. Everything is great. Everything is fine. And there is restoration no matter how you messed up. If you do it the right way, there is restoration, reconciliation, and there is no shame. There is no shame.
Oh, yeah.
Shame on you for telling people that you find shame here because there isn't. And that makes me really mad because I think we do an excellent job.
I agree. When people ask like the short story of like, how'd you guys do it? I'm always like, I actually like the mic just now. This one's mine. I'm always just like, I don't know. We like literally, I'm like, me and Joey just did what PJ said, like what he preached at Extreme on Wednesday nights, what Pastor Jason preached, Davis, like everyone who just preached on a Wednesday night, don't touch it if the bathing suit does, like all that stuff. I'm like, we just did it. We didn't make up anything like deep. It just, we went to Extreme in high school. We took notes. And then when we started dating, we did what PJ said to do. And then it worked. And we've seen it work. It's awesome.
The only thing I'll say is I think we can't overestimate our what's am I trying to say? We can't try to just diminish the value of living in God's will, seeking out his best for your life and living on purpose. I tell guys all the time, like, Adam did not have to go find a wife. God made her for him. And he was just living on purpose. He had a relationship with God. He was running after that. And I think the fastest way to eliminate the awkwardness of dating is not to look for a date, but look for God, look for your purpose. What does he place you on this planet to do? Like, if you're called to go in this direction, I love this Maya Angelou quote. It says this: a woman's heart should be so hidden in God that a man has to seek him to find her. Yeah. And I think the more that we just get lost in our purpose, it just eliminates so many distractions. Then you're not dating somebody who isn't going the same direction as you. Then you're not pursuing something that just doesn't need to be. I think something that John Bevere has been teaching in one of his courses on Messenger X is that God gave Israel a king. And they wanted a king, and he said, you don't need a king, you need me. I'll be your source, And it's that settling for what's acceptable and what's culturally appropriate and what's popular opinion or what people just kind of feel in their flesh that they want, instead of going after the things of God. Yes. And like, so here's the thing, if all you want is a boyfriend, you're going to find one, or a relationship, you're going to find one. Right. But if you seek God, he will give you the desires of your heart, and it'll be your Eve, it'll be your Adam, it'll be the purpose that he has for you. So I think, man, if you want to make it less awkward and less regrets, run after your purpose, be in church, be involved in ministry. If that's the direction that you need to go, and you're going to find your one.
It's so much easier than I think we overcomplicate it.
Yes.
You know?
Which I was trying to say, but I couldn't say it.
No. I'm just saying, like, it is, and it's just like, just go for it, and it's just going to happen, because it does. And then but we try to go, no, but we have that.
Yeah. And I think when it's good, because it is easy.
Yes.
Like, things, not like your life's easy, you'll never have trouble, but I don't know, I think, like, both of you guys too, and it was just like easy. And it made sense. Yeah. It was just like, well, this makes sense. The next step for us, this would make sense. You know?
Okay. What are some unhealthy dating habits you've seen, noticed, and how do we avoid them?
I think, and I'll say in the church specifically, is like just the whole like mixing your spiritual lives together and like being accountability partners, and like usually it's the girl is like trying to help the guy, and the guy's like addicted to something sexual, and she's trying to like help it. Like, it's just, and it happens all the time. And that I'm like, we have to stop. We got to stop. This is like, it's just very weird. Like, it's a very weird, very not biblical way to date. And I think that it's also awkward. It makes us awkward as Christians. So I'm like, why does your girlfriend have your passwords to your internet? Like, probably someone else should have that. Give it to Pastor Jason, you know, and it makes it real awkward. And then you can tell because people start acting like they're married. Like, they're like, well, before I do this, I'm going to talk to him. Well, before I, choose to go to the fun day, I'm going to talk to her. And I'm like, really? Because I don't even know where Gio is. Like, today, I think he went to Starbucks, but I don't even know. I haven't even checked on him, because it's this unhealthy, like, attachment. So stop it.
They start acting like they're married before they're married. Yes. It's not wise at all.
Yeah, because they will start acting like they're married. Right? They'll start, the physical will come soon after.
My thought is kind of that, like, the thing to, like, avoid. I do feel like, I think we have to accept the fact that you cannot compartmentalize your behaviors. So if you've been 10 years at Valencia, you quit everything, you would probably quit your marriage.
Yes.
If you can't get a job and start tithing, I was like, then you're never going to provide for your children. Yeah. You can't go, no, but for my kids it'll be different, or for my spouse it'll be different. Yeah. Oh, no, I'm this, it isn't. Like, you need to take a solid look at yourself and be like, man, you know what? I don't finish anything I start. Oh, you know what? I can't even keep a job. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I don't even know how to have conversation with friends, with people. Like, I don't even go like to cadences or small, I don't get involved. If that's you, trust me, you're not ready to marry. You will bring that to your relationships, and you'll teach your spouse, you will teach your kids, and that's who you become. Yeah. Like, you cannot compartmentalize your behaviors. It will come out. So you need to like look at your life and be like, wow, you know what? Like, I drop out of college every 5 minutes. You're going to drop out of your marriage. Like, you can't just pick and choose. And like God forgives and he restores, but it's like, just think about it. Like, are you that most people, and it's crazy because I think about like you two, you guys are very self-motivated and tenacious naturally. I don't know what it is, but like, you know, since I've known you're like, you went to college, you did it on your own, you got your school. Like, it wasn't necessarily mom or dad, like you just did it, you know, and obviously it's God or whatever, but even you, when you're just like, no, you were at church every service, you're involved, you used to ride your bike to church, team video practice, like you got your own job, like when you were in high school. So that stuff translates. It's like, wow, that's how I know, like you guys are like amazing husbands and amazing ministers, and God will take you to levels. Why?
Amen.
Because you started super young, like, no, I want this and I'm going to do this. And so many times we're like, we want this one thing, but it's like, look at you look at yourself. You're not a tither. You're not a giver. You're not a servant. You're a quitter. God, have mercy on us. Like, finish college, please. Finish it. I don't care what you major in. God doesn't care what you major in. I already asked him, but you finish what you start. You don't realize how much that attribute helps you go, no, like, we're struggling in our marriage, but I'm going to keep fighting for it. I'm going to keep going forward. Like, you can see in everyone that you know people that have successful marriages because of, like, look at their track record. You cannot compartmentalize your behavior, so fix it. Fix it now before you're in that relationship.
That's huge.
Amen.
Wow.
I had to get that out.
That was great.
Good.
That was really good.
Any other things?
I'm still reeling. I had something.
Sorry.
Wow.
He's still
like
taking in the compliment.
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm like,
gonna-
wow.
I'm a good
But
minister.
it's true
I'm a good
though.
husband.
Like, I'm not trying to.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And not that you're not either. You're awesome
bad
too. But I'm
minister.
just
Yeah.
saying,
I think
like,
you're great.
it's just
guys.
But it's those little things. And here's the thing though, and I'll go whatever. Like, we'll go deeper. It's not like you had the greatest role model of father, or you had the greatest role model of father. So like at some point too, your daddy issues, take it to the cross and shut up about it. We all have our issues. We all have it.
Yes.
But you're holding a napkin the whole time, like me and Zion and
I
my
know.
dad.
I like this.
That's what I do.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. Anyways, like, you don't necessarily, like, yes, I had this horrible situation, but you own it, you take it to the cross, and you move forward. Like, you guys are both examples. Pastor Johnny is examples
Holy smokes,
of not having a dad, but being the greatest men we know.
Yeah.
So we need to stop crying.
And it's not a surprise though either. It's not like, oh, I didn't really think he was going to be a good husband. You know, like you can look at them and be like, oh yeah, they're going to kill it. You know, like I know, like I remember like in high school, like Gio was the only like high schooler that certain kids were allowed to ride in a car with.
That's good.
Wow.
Like, because the moms, you know, like he got a job at like 15 at Chick-fil-A, always had a job no matter what. Even though he wanted to be in ministry, he always had a job. Even if it wasn't in ministry, he always got the oil change in his car on time. Like, I don't know, he took care of his stuff. Like, you went to his house, his room was clean. You know, it was like things like that I was just like, I remember being like, that is like, that you're going to be a good husband and father because you're not a little kid, you know? So it's true. You can tell, and it's never a surprise. Like, oh, they shocked me that they're good at that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think it's also what you're saying is like just being good stewards of the season you're in. You know, the scripture talks about know the importance of the season that you're in, and I think that's massive. Like, where does God have you right now? Be faithful and committed there. So if that's working the 9-to-5 job that you hate, but you know it's just a means to an end to your greater goal, man, stay committed, stay faithful. Be good stewards.
I think another unhealthy thing that is basically, C.S. Lewis says this in The Four Loves. He says, the greatest sacrifice on love's altar is one's conscience. Yeah. And so what he's saying is that when we fall in love, we willingly give up everything we know to be true and good for love. But if we do that, love itself becomes the devil. And stuff. And so I think so many people do that because they're so in love that they pervert.
That's a whole podcast topic right now.
That they pervert love.
Yeah.
And so it stings because God might have very well blessed you with the person.
Oh, yeah. Right.
But instead of worshiping God, you idolize one another and you ruin the blessing and you spoil it. And it's a sacrifice at an altar, just not the altar of God. Like,
oh, shoot.
And stuff. I know, C.S. Lewis,
You're
read
crazy.
it. Four Loves, good stuff. Read that book.
Wow.
You
But I
should
feel
make
like
some sermons off of that book. Because you would.
I love that book, so good. But yeah, so I see that a lot. Like, and it's really sad because something that was so great, so good, and then it gets spoiled and ruined.
Yeah.
And literally, you're tricked into thinking, no, but we're in love. We're genuinely in love. But the love itself becomes the idol.
And you can convince most people of what you're saying. Like, no, but we're in love. This is good.
Yeah.
And most people will be like, yeah, you're right. How dare you come against them being in love? You know what I mean? And you're like, no, but it's the worst. It's an idol. It's an ephod. Like, it became a snare. And they're like, no, it's great.
God have mercy.
Yeah.
I think we're out of time. Any final thoughts you guys want to share, or any things that you just want to get off your
We shared a lot.
chest? Stressed. He wants to go pray in his room.
No, I mean, marriage is awesome and great, and God made us to be in a relationship, but ultimately, the ultimate fulfillment of relationship is relationship with Him. And so if that relationship isn't where it's supposed to be, no matter what, no matter where you're at, married, dating, single, you're always going to be empty, missing something, because God is the only one who can fill that God-shaped hole in our hearts, right? The Bible also doesn't promise us marriage, right? So like you might feel it, whatever, and you're like, well, unless this is met, then I'm never gonna be satisfied. Biblically, that's not true, because God gives us Himself, and everyone can be satisfied with the Lord. And that sounds cheap coming from someone who's married, right?
Yeah.
But like, I was single for a good amount of time on purpose, seeking the Lord, you know? And when I finally understood that, wow, God, you're actually all that I really need, the light switches to be like, okay, then now let's move someone into your life to kind of move this forward. And
also, and the accountability was a big part of your life too, your story. Like you didn't play with it.
No.
And a lot of people play with it. I know the difference, you know?
Well, I mean, when you get burned with this thing, because like, again, like people don't know our stories or whatever, but like, man, I messed up a lot when it came to relationships and stuff. And so I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to get burned anymore. So let me make sure that I'm doing everything right. Like I listen to the people who've gone before me, and I'm like, okay, well, it looks good for you. So can you give me some advice and stuff? And
I would say that like when it comes to, Feb, and it comes to like relationships and stuff, you got to get advice from people that you want to be like, marriages that you want to have, or single people that you're like, they're single and they're killing it. Like, how can I be like that versus whoever's going to tell you what you want to hear? Because sometimes people are like, yeah, I went to so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And I was like, cool, you should go talk to Pastor Jason maybe, because I don't think you want the relationships those people have had. So I don't know why I do know why, but I don't know why you would go talk to them about that. And it's not like in a mean way. It's not in a rude way. Like, you're not going to take a workout class from someone who has a lot more to, more to love. Like,
who's a book like this.
And they're fine. It's okay. God loves them too. But like, I'm not going to take a class from like you. I want you to have the muscles all over your, like muscles I didn't even know you could have.
Yeah.
You need to have those. So I'm going to take a class from you.
That's good.
So think about that when you go to people for advice about love.
good. Yeah.
That's good.
Any final thoughts? You're good? We are good?
Yeah. We're good.
Wow, so good.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel, The Voice YouTube, and go ahead and share it. Share it on social media, share it. And if you got anything from this, send it to someone that you're like, oh, okay, girl, okay, guy, you need to listen to this. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Peace.